Hello everyone, today we'll be talking about the grounds of rejection of a trademark in accordance with Section 40 of the Trademarks Act of 1995. Pursuant to Section 40 of the Trademarks Act of 1995, an application for the registration of a trademark must be rejected if the trademark cannot be represented graphically. The definition of a trademark is quite broad pursuant to Section 17 of the Act and states that a trademark is a sign used or intended to be used to distinguish goods or services dealt with or provided in the course of a trade by a person from goods or services so dealt with or provided by any other person. The definition of a sign as set out in Section 6 of the Act holds a sign to include any letter, word, name, signature, numeral, device, brand, heading, label, ticket, aspect of packaging, shape, colour, sound or scent. Given the inclusive definition of sign in Section 17, there is a presumption that Section 40 is irrelevant unless it is clear that no suitable graphical representation is possible. Whilst the definition of sign does include sensory trademarks such as sound and scent, how is this practically registered with the implementation of Section 40 and the notion of graphically represented? For trademarks that meet these sensory issues, the applicant must, along with submitting their application, provide a concise and accurate description of the trademark. Such descriptions have to be carefully described in order to be registered. Let's look at some examples now.
With the advancement of technology, the general public's exposure to not only visual but auditory representations have increased tenfold, and thus the 1995 Act allows for the registration of sound as a trademark. The difficulty for examiners to examine these marks definitively increases with the more unusual the sound. For example, the first thing that pops into my head is that of a tow truck. This is because this is a function sound caused by the normal operation of a piece of equipment. Let's say, for example, that you wish to make this sound a sensory trademark and send through your application for same. The descriptive words needed for a trademark of this kind are simple, as it is caused from the normal operation of the equipment. What of trademarks for scents?
Unfortunately, technology has not as of yet developed far enough for me to provide you with sensory examples of scents from my computer, but nonetheless we can still look at a few examples. If you all take a second to imagine the fresh smell of apple blossoms we have all undoubtedly smelt in one's life as we have entered a friend's car who cannot help but buy those little tree air fresheners. The smell is quite distinguishable and you can immediately tell where the odour is coming from. On the off chance that that company who sells little tree air fresheners decided that one day they wished to trademark that scent, they would be required by the implementation of Section 40 to include a short, descriptive sentence such as, "The application is a scent mark consisting of the smell of apple blossoms applied to a car air freshener." Whilst this is quite easy to imagine because it is a well-known scent, the problem in attempting to describe a scent in a way that is unambiguous becomes quite hard the more original the scent. In terms of identity, the more that is left to the imagination, the less clarity there is when it comes to forms of graphic representation, and thus, scent marks become very hard marks to achieve under Section 40. Further to this, it is important to remember that while sound and scents may be eligible for registration under Section 40 of the Act, given the graphical representation of the description, the applicant is still required to adhere to the list of requirements as set out in Part 4, Division 2 of the Act.
It is likely that Section 40 may only result in grounds for rejection of some sensory trademarks, for which there is neither a clear descriptive drawing nor a description for the sound and scent of the products. Whilst there is a presumption that Section 40 is irrelevant given the definition of a trademark, unless it is clear that no suitable graphical representation is possible, for some original sensory trademarks, issues may arise in obtaining a suitable graphical representation. Thank you for listening, everyone.